Applez2Applez offers healthcare consumers an easy way to manage their healthcare challenges, to determine all correct steps to get back to wellness, determine where, when, and with whom to take each of these steps, keep track of the current and the next step on the road to wellness, and lower the healthcare costs of returning to wellness. We call this process Applez2Applez Health Event Management. Health event management is an integral component of the strategy to speed up healthcare consumer loyalty by offering consumers a high-value process of managing their optimum path to wellness. Let's use an example of a consumer who recently injured his knee while hiking and is using Applez2Applez to help guide him back to wellness. The home screen of the Applez2Applez Consumer Decision Support. From this screen you can access every solution in the system. Clicking on the green Healthcare Navigation button takes us to the screen that provides solutions for returning to wellness and recovery from injuries and illnesses. This consumer is an Applez2Applez customer, so we already have on record his individual preferences and priorities in the area of health and wellness. The video Achieving Sustainable Customer Loyalty explains in more detail the process of capturing customers' preferences. The right-hand side of the screen is all about health event management. The video Accelerating Customer Loyalty explains this screen in more detail. For each health event, the consumer can request Applez2Applez to develop and display a template of best practices for optimal path back to wellness. For this example, the consumer has already selected knee problem as an event injury that needs to be managed, and as we can see, has already taken several of the steps necessary to achieve his goal. The Applez2Applez event management solution provides the consumer with an integrated healthcare process to manage the knee problem. This best practice template also includes the recommended elapsed time between steps to further help the consumer better manage each process. The consumer has the flexibility to personalize and customize this health event template to further reflect his individual preferences and priorities. The left-hand side of the screen shows that the consumer is now working with a knee event management solution divided into 5 stages: general physician visit, specialist visit, physical therapy exam, physical equipment purchase or use, and pool physical therapy. Color coding is used to instantly inform the consumer of their current exact status. Gray means that the step is completed, so the general physician and specialist visits have been completed. Green means that a step is currently underway. No step has this status yet. Yellow means that this step needs to be planned now, and that is the status of the physical therapy exam, as we can see. Blue means that these are subsequent steps that need to be planned later: the physical therapy equipment and the pool physical therapy. And red means that the planning for this stage is overdue based on the elapsed time best practice described above. For the step currently in need of action, the pool physical therapy exam, the right-hand side of the screen provides a best practice integrated process cycle to ensure that this step is managed optimally. There are 5 possible phases for each event step: plan, investigate and make a decision about the sourcing of the step; schedule, decide about the occurrence and timing of the step; act, execute the step; review, interact with the system to share results of the event and step; and adjust, modify any phase in the process to ensure a successful completion of the step. This closed-loop process, as we can see, uses the same color coding described for the steps themselves. The physical therapy visit itself is now in the planning phase, so we need to decide where the visit will take place. Clicking here on your Health in Your Hands navigation button takes us to the section of the Consumer Decision Support solution that provides personalized recommendations on a healthcare-related sourcing decision. Custom search and recommendations allows consumers to inform the system exactly for which healthcare activity, service, or product do they want a recommendation. As you can see, Applez2Applez supports a broad variety of easy ways for healthcare consumers to identify to the system exactly in which wellness activity or healthcare service or product he is interested. In this case, we will use the intelligent search engine here option and just type in pool physical therapy. The system immediately recognizes this category from the database of healthcare services and products and displays the full set of local providers of pool physical therapy. At this point, I can choose to eliminate certain names from the list of potential recommendations, but for this demo, I just choose all pool physical therapy to give the recommendations optimization engine the widest possible set of choices. I wish to ask for recommendations right away because I've already informed the system about my preferences and priorities when I initially registered with Applez2Applez. You can see that to the right of each pull-down menu choice, the system provides a description of that choice. This context-sensitive support is used throughout the Applez2Applez system to help consumers with a quick description of all choices. Recommendations are that easy. The system immediately ranks and displays the top 5 choices of pool physical therapy service providers that are the closest fit to my personal preferences. How many choices are displayed for any customer recommendation is controlled by the user as part of their registration choices. In this case, the system recommends as the top choice Tria Orthopedic Center located on Northland Drive in Bloomington. For each of the top 5 alternatives, the display includes the rank, descending order 1 to 5 where 1 is the highest possible rank, address with multiple locations for each corporate name or brand if the consumer so desires, phone number, ranking score with 100% being the maximum possible score, the cost per session, and the Optum connection, whether or not each pool physical therapy service provider is an Optum approved partner. Tria score of 98% out of a maximum score of 100% indicates that this healthcare ecosystem company is a near perfect fit to the consumer's priorities and preferences for a pool physical therapy service provider. Please recall that this recommendation is based on prioritized pool physical therapy characteristics, prioritized and ranked in importance by this individual consumer and target profile. Only those experienced end consumers whose profile fits this consumer choice for a pool physical therapy recommendation are included in the calculations. Now notice that there are 2 other companies that achieved a high score over 90%, so the consumer may want to revise the optimization criteria to see if Tria remains the primary recommendation. The system will on demand show all other relevant data, such as identifying other available related services, or pull detailed specifications from the pool physical therapy service provider's website, or enable the consumer to schedule a visit through the Optum reservation system. At this point, the consumer could change any of their prioritized criteria using this same pull-down menu, and Applez2Applez would instantly generate revised recommendations based on these new criteria. In addition, Applez2Applez also offers the healthcare consumer a comprehensive statistical assessment to better understand the calculations behind the recommendation and the criteria most critical in determining the displayed prioritized recommendations. This focused decision analysis will help the healthcare consumer decide if there is a need or a desire to change any of the criteria and request Applez2Applez to generate a revised set of real-time recommendations. Let's assume that the consumer is satisfied with the selection of Tria and the Bloomington location for the physical therapy exam and needs to inform the system that this phase of the physical therapy step has been completed. Clicking on My HM Events button returns the consumer to the Health Event Management screen and automatically updates the status of the knee problem event. Please note that Applez2Applez Event Management solution has instantly updated the status of the physical therapy step, and we can see from yellow to green as it is now underway, and the closed loop process, which shows that the planning phase is now complete and the schedule phase has started. The consumer could immediately move ahead with the schedule phase by clicking on this button, which basically allows them to get into the Optum scheduling system. This concludes the demonstration of how Applez2Applez uniquely offers healthcare consumers real-time prioritized recommendations how to manage their health events, and how by offering this access, ecosystem healthcare companies can leverage this capability to even further accelerate achieving sustainable end consumer loyalty.